The transmission crackled through the encrypted channels of Earth's Antarctic command bunker, each word falling like ice into the silent chamber. The human envoy has been terminated. President Chen Malin watched the holographic display flicker with alien script, her knuckles white against the obsidian table. Round her, the emergency council sat frozen, their faces illuminated by the pale blue glow of the intercepted message. Silent alarms painted the walls in rhythmic crimson, but no sound escaped the soundproof depths beneath the frozen continent. The footage arrived 17 minutes later. Ambassador Sarah Chen, relation. Despite the shared name stood before the towering crystalline structure of the Galactic Council's judgment chamber. Her Earth Alliance uniform remained pristine, shoulders straight despite the energy shackles binding her wrists. The alien tribunal loomed above her like grotesque sculptures carved from nightmare, their varied forms unified only in their contempt. When the Valkyrian judge spoke, its voice resonated through translation matrices, each word dripping with disdain. The human species has been found guilty of territorial presumption. Your envoy's execution serves as notice Earth's expansion beyond your solar system is forbidden. Sarah's final words cut through the chamber's ceremonial silence like a blade through silk. You have just made the last mistake of your species. The energy beam that followed lasted 3 seconds. The transmission ended with alien laughter echoing through dimensions. 3 years had passed since humanity's first peaceful contact with the Galactic Council. When their ships had appeared at the edge of the solar system, broadcasting messages of trade and diplomacy, Dr. Marcus Webb had warned the Earth Alliance then, his weathered face grave as he addressed the assembled delegates. They see our kindness as weakness, he'd insisted, studying the alien communication patterns. Every species they've contacted follows the same pattern: integration, then subjugation. His warnings had been dismissed as xenophobic paranoia. Now, as President Chen rewatched Sarah's execution for the 5th time, Webb's words echoed with prophetic clarity. The aliens had been subtle in their machinations. Ambassador Zektar, of the hegemony, had smiled an expression that looked wrong on its serpentine features while pressing its scaled palm against Sarah's during their first diplomatic handshake. The biotracker injected during that contact had been undetectable by human technology, allowing the Council to monitor Earth's defensive preparations. What they hadn't anticipated was Earth's AI defense grid quietly recording every alien ship's flight pattern, every energy signature, every quantum communication pulse that passed through human space. On Mars base Olympus, orbital weapons platforms that had been disguised as mining equipment for 3 years suddenly hummed to life. Commander Sarah Parkerth had too many Sarahs. It seemed watch targeting solutions cascade across her tactical display. The Council had planned Ambassador Chen's execution months in advance. Earth intelligence had discovered, treating it as entertainment for their member species. Park's orders were simple: prepare Protocol Omega, no negotiations. The children of Earth had watched the execution broadcast with confused anger burning in their young eyes. In classrooms from Beijing to Sao Paulo, teachers struggled to explain why the galaxy's civilized species had murdered their representative. 8-year-old Tommy Martinez asked his teacher why the aliens looked so happy when they killed the nice lady who brought them gifts. The teacher had no answer. By evening, Earth's spaceports activated across 6 continents, and ships began disappearing into artificially generated wormholes, their destinations classified beyond even presidential clearance. The first alien patrol to detect a human stealth cruiser near the Vega neutral zone transmitted their discovery with casual confidence. The ship appeared on their sensors like a whisper, barely registering against the cosmic background radiation. Captain Viklos of the 3rd Hegemony Fleet ordered his gunners to disable the primitive human vessel, expecting easy prey. The massive Galactic Council relay station behind them vanished 3 seconds later, consumed by gravitational anomalies that shouldn't have been possible with human technology. The alien patrol found themselves alone in empty space, their communications severed, watching debris that had once been a structure the size of Manhattan spinning away into the void. Panic rippled through the council chambers like a virus. Emergency sessions convened across 17 member worlds, their leaders' varied forms united in bewilderment. They weren't supposed to fight back like this. Council Prime Zekthara broadcasted to the assembled delegates. Humans had shown no military capability beyond their primitive chemical rockets and nuclear warheads. Their surrender should have been immediate and absolute. Instead, a transmission arrived at the Council's primary communication hub, a holographic projection of Earth's diplomatic AI, its human-designed features serene and terrifying in their calm composure. Erasure has begun, it announced, then vanished. The Ghost Hammer unit materialized inside the Council's central galactic database, like phantoms given form, their stealth technology rendering them invisible to alien sensors. Captain Maria Santos moved through the crystalline corridors with practiced silence, her team's quantum disruptors making short work of the facility's defenses. The virus they uploaded was elegant in its simplicity, didn't destroy the Council's communication networks, but rather corrupted every message with fragments of Ambassador Chen's final words, turning their own infrastructure into a monument to their cruelty. Jupiter's moon Europa erupted with artificial lightning as graviton weapons fired from concealed positions, their beams crossing the impossible distances between star systems in defiance of known physics. The Council's primary shipyards above Kepler 452b simply ceased to exist, their constituent atoms scattered across light years of space. Admiral Chen Wei, another Chen, though this one had chosen his name in honor of the fallen ambassador, watched the destruction from his command ship's bridge with grim satisfaction. 3,000 alien vessels reduced to cosmic dust in 17 seconds. The Zelkarai were the first species to defect, their insectoid ambassador approaching Earth's hidden diplomatic station near Alpha Centauri with trembling appendages. "We warned them," the translator rendered its chittering speech. He said humanity's silence during negotiations meant preparation, not submission. They laughed at our caution. Zelkari offered complete technological exchanges and territorial concessions, begging only to be spared the fate befalling the Council's member worlds. Earth accepted their surrender with the same cold efficiency that now characterized all human diplomatic responses. Planet Zekthera Prime experienced its first total blackout in 3,000 years as human. Cyber warfare specialists disabled every power grid communication array and life support system across the homeworld of the Council's leadership. 17 billion aliens found themselves trapped in darkness, their technology useless, their grand civilization reduced to the primitive state they'd mockingly attributed to humanity. The blackouts weren't permanent. They pulsed on and off in a pattern that, when decoded, spelled out Ambassador Chen's name in ancient Earth Morse code. The alien news feeds that still functioned showed blurry footage of Earth's stealth dreadnoughts, massive vessels that seemed to bend light around themselves. The ships appeared as shadows against starfields, their true size impossible to determine. Xenobiologist Dr. Krelver, studying the footage frame by frame, estimated the largest vessel at over 20 kilometers in length. Her calculations were conservative. The ESS Retribution measured 47 kilometers from bow to stern, its interior housing enough firepower to crack a planet's crust. Council Prime Zekthera called for an emergency vote in the surviving communication bunkers beneath her world's capital. Half the member delegates had simply vanished, some during transit between worlds, others from within supposedly impregnable fortress worlds. Those who remained faced a horrifying reality. Earth had systematically dismantled their entire civilization's infrastructure in less than 72 hours. The vote was unanimous immediate cessation of hostilities and complete reparations to the human species. Earth's response was silence. Human fleets disabled the galaxy's primary warp gates with surgical precision, isolating entire sectors of space. Species that had never heard of humanity found themselves trapped in their home systems, watching their trade routes collapse. The Galactic Council's carefully maintained interstellar economy crumbled as supply chains spanning thousands of light-years simply ceased to function. Commander Sarah Park, now coordinating Earth's largest fleet above the Council's capital world, received thousands of surrender transmissions. Her orders remained unchanged. No communications, no negotiations, no mercy. In the underground bunkers of Zekthera Prime, the remaining Council leaders huddled around failing life support systems. Our grand civilization, which had spanned the galaxy for millennia, had been reduced to a handful of survivors hiding in the dark. The transmission that reached them came from no identifiable source, a holographic projection of Ambassador Sarah Chen, identical to her appearance before the execution. The image spoke with her voice, but the words carried the weight of an entire species' rage. "We came for peace," the projection said, its eyes reflecting depths of sorrow and fury that no alien species had ever witnessed in human expression. You answered with death. Now we answer in kind. The message repeated on every available frequency, broadcasting from satellites that appeared in orbit around every council world simultaneously. Attempts to disable the satellites failed. They were protected by energy shields that consumed directed attacks and grew stronger. Planetary evacuation attempts across 17 worlds failed as Earth forces maintained control of all warp gates and hyperspace routes. The Council's most advanced ships found themselves unable to achieve faster-than-light travel, their drives mysteriously failing whenever they attempted to escape their home systems. Admiral Chen Wei's fleet departed the capital world as suddenly as it had arrived, leaving behind only the broadcasting satellites and the memory of human wrath made manifest. The new galactic map showed vast sectors marked with a simple designation: silenced. No transmissions emerged from these regions, no ships departed their borders. Automated probes sent to investigate these zones simply vanished, their final transmissions showing empty space where civilizations had once thrived. The children of Earth now studied 17 different alien languages in their schools, not as subjects of curiosity, but as the dialects of conquered peoples. In the orbital museum above Luna, the personal effects of Ambassador Sarah Chen occupied a place of honor beside artifacts from the galaxy's erased civilizations. Visitors, mostly alien refugees who had been granted sanctuary for their early opposition to the execution, purred among themselves as they read the plaque. The price of peace is preparedness. A single alien survivor, a Valkyrian historian named Vekvel, had dedicated his remaining years to documenting the fall of the Galactic Council. His final entry read simply, "Never underestimate Earth." Admiral Chen Wei retired to a small house overlooking the Pacific, where he spent his evenings watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of amber and gold. In his study, Ambassador Chen's diplomatic badge rested in a glass case, its surface still bearing traces of alien atmosphere from her final mission. Sometimes, late at night, he would hold the badge and remember her final words. The galaxy had learned their meaning to late humanity's greatest strength had never been their weapons or their technology. It was their memory and their unwillingness to forget those who had died in the name of peace.